Hey friends and family, thanks for tuning in to tonight's Thursday Night Thought. Have you noticed a pattern recently of me doing these videos in my minivan? It's like I'm inviting you all to come into this intimate conversation together. And there's actually a metaphor to this because this vehicle is a vehicle of transition, and it actually reflects where my family and I are at right now as we are getting ready to move permanently out of state, and we're looking forward to it. And there's this aspect that we all are in transition in our lives, right? Everything's in transition. We learned that last week. But is there something right now that you can think of in your mind's eye that you are striving for, that you are wanting to get to, that you're excited about, that it holds a lot of light, that maybe it's something that lights up your soul? Well, there's a very key element of today's message that is going to lead us to that place. And so I want to tell you this week's message, and then I want to break it down and give you a very special gift, a tool that you can use right now to apply this message to your life. But first, I don't know about you, but this week was a really painful week. Over the last 4 weeks, we've been called to examine our life, and it's taken us deeper. And last week specifically, we were shown how justice will not be found in our world. It is only found in our hearts. And I don't know about you, but when I got to my heart, there was some hardness there. There was some anger there. There was a lot of unresolved issues there. And I was led there. There was a lot of pain. And this is the message that came in this week. Just as you are led into the darkness, so you are led into the light through grace. You cannot pursue this grace. Rather, grace pursues you and finds you in your inner work. Gradually, it becomes second nature until its fragrance consumes all senses, and you thrive more on truth than on fear. This is amazing grace. And I think this is one of the most beautiful messages I've ever received. And specifically, this idea that you cannot pursue this grace, rather grace pursues you and finds you in your inner work. So as I was led into my heart, and I used this tool that I'm going to share with you at the end of this video, I was doing inner work. And in this space, I received this message and I expected grace to show up. But I was feeling pain, I was feeling anger, I was looking at things in my life. And maybe you're experiencing that right now. Maybe you're experiencing some emotion in your heart or anger at someone. And I kept hearing this statement over and over in my mind. My life would be great if it wasn't for fill in the blank. Your life would be great right now if it wasn't for fill in the blank. Maybe it's a situation. Maybe it's a person. But if we're making that statement, that our life would be great right now if it wasn't for, then we're not accepting the greatness of our lives. And I was really convicted by this. And so I had this visual come to me that I was standing in a field and there was this wall between me and grace was on the other side. And I kept thinking, okay, God, I don't know what to do to break down that wall, but obviously I can't pursue it. Rather, it pursues me while I'm doing my inner work right now, not feeling so good. When's grace going to show up, right? And so I pray and I ask for God to take down this wall. And not more than I fell asleep, and probably I woke up about maybe 3 hours later. It was in the middle of the night. And all of a sudden I had a completely different viewpoint of this situation in my life, of this person in my life. And because I experienced this, it was transformational. It wasn't something that I could have created. And I was shown visually once again that this wall that stood between me and grace was my pride. And the moment I asked for God to take that away, it's as if grace was extended to me and I experienced it, and it was beautiful. And then throughout the week, my messages were like, yeah, I'm going to have you take it a step further, and I'm going to have you extend that grace to that person. I was like, wait a second, I just figured out how to do this in my own life. Like, now you want me to go extend grace to somebody else? And that's taking grace to a whole different level. But when I did that, it was amazing. I have never felt so much love. It was as if grace is not a human quality. Grace is a spiritual quality. And when it worked through me and I experienced this amazing transformation, all of a sudden when I applied it to my life and this situation and this person, it did the same thing. It had this beautiful fragrance, and now it's spreading in my life. And I believe that's what grace wants to do in our lives. And it's so beautiful. So I pray that this message brings hope if you're in that type of situation. And I want to give you a tool that is an amazing tool. And for those of you who have read my book, it's not just a ghost story. It's not just a romance novel. It's a metaphor of what happens when painful thoughts are attached to us. And the metaphor is the ghost is attached to the main character, right? And she wants to get rid of it. That's all she wants to do, is get rid of that painful thought, which she thinks is a ghost. She wants to rid herself of this ghost that's attached to her. But the truth is, she can't rid herself of this ghost. The ghost has to let go of her. In other words, in our lives, the painful thoughts that's creating the pain in the first place has to let go of us. We can't let go of it. Have you ever been in a situation where you're in pain and someone tells you, well, just be happy. Just change, do a positive mantra and change your outlook on life. It really can't be done. It's really not human. There's only one way that we are led into the light, and that is through grace. And I believe this process, the work through Byron Katie, that I used as the transformational element in my book, that I use in my coaching, that I know Tony Robbins uses in his coaching, and several coaches use this tool of transformation because it is so powerful for being able to allow those thoughts to leave us. Because in truth, it's the thoughts that's causing the pain. It's the thoughts, the stories that we've created in our mind. And there was a story that I had created, and I'm thankful to life that it got me that deep into my heart that I realized it was a painful story that I was attached to. Is there a painful story that you could be attached to right now in your life? And that this tool could allow you to experience freedom and grace, because it truly is amazing. And if we can spread that into our lives, I'm not at that level yet. It's not my second nature, I can tell you that. But I would love to make that my goal, is to make that grace my second nature, because it is beautiful. So may this message encourage and inspire you, and I will leave this tool down below and links to Byron Katie and her tool called The Work. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to sharing our next Thursday Night Thought together.